What's up, everybody? It's Dr. G. I hope you guys are doing well. I am just stepping by to do the usual, to answer a question, actually a commonly asked question these days. I have answered this question on different social media platforms, but I'm going to go ahead and also answer it here just for those that did not get my response. This is a question that a lot of people have been asking lately, especially if you're an IMG. So before we proceed, guys, just want to take a second again, appreciating you guys for helping me build this channel and getting this information to everyone that needs it. I thank you guys for subscribing, the views, the comments, everything. Thank you so much for that. And just take a second right now and click that like button and click that subscribe button as well, okay? All right, let's get started. So the question is it worth it for IMGs to still apply for residency now that step one has become pass or fail? And my answer to that is yes, it's still worth it. I mean, I took step one exam when it still had a numerical score to it, so you get the pass and then there's still that numerical score to tell you what you scored. And of course we know for programs that was much easier for them to use that to sort of filter out who they wanted to invite or not invite for interviews. But now with the new recommendations, with the new regulations from USMLE, so they've, in addition to canceling step 2 CS, they've also decided to make step 1 pass fail. So you're no longer going to see that score from, 197, 198 and above to pass, or none of that. It'll just be pass or fail. The issue with that now is they'll probably shift gears to the next exam that has a numerical score, because guys, think about it, step 2 still has a numerical score to it. So in my opinion, step 2 basically now becomes the new top dog, if you really think about it. And the step 2 exam, it's actually more clinical. The step 2 exam is more of a clinical based exam compared to step 1. So if you imagine, if you're a program director or you're reviewing applications trying to bring residents into your program, which would you pay more attention to? Is it that step 1 score or the step 2 score? So they're both important, of course, but now because step 2 still has a numerical score to it, they're going to start paying a whole lot of attention to that score. So it now behooves you to put in a lot of effort to do well on that exam. The other thing too is they're now going to look at the whole package. I know they were looking at the whole package before, but there will be a little more focus and emphasis on your performance in medical school and everything else that you've done. So your medical school grades, this is not the time to start getting like, horrible grades or failing courses, repeating things like that. Even if that were to be your situation, I mean, you can always find ways to rectify that, like to boost your application. But again, yes, it still makes sense to apply to residency, even as an IMG, but consider improving your application, the overall application. And when it comes to improving your application, there's a lot you can do for that, right? I mean, you have those recommendation letters, which of course we know you can't control what the preceptor writes in your recommendation letter, but at least you can perform well, so you hope for good letters. And of course, like they always advise, always get letters from people that you know will write something good about you. And then you talk about your personal statement. Oh, do not underestimate the power of a well-written personal statement. That's another thing too. And then other things you can do to boost that application, publications of things, right? So research, whatever you can get into, because now they will start focusing not just on that step 1, because everybody will probably just have a pass fail, right? So if you got 20 guys from a whole bunch of different schools and stuff, the guy from Harvard, the guy from Yale, the guy from School of No Name, who cares? Everybody's got to pass. So now you got to show us something that makes you sort of like a more competitive candidate compared to everybody else. And of course, we know for IMGs, you always have to take your step 2 before applying to residency. For starters, you need that to get your CFMG certification anyway. But sometimes some people want to make that move, sort of like a trial and error, just like, I only have step 1, let me just go in and try and see if anyone coming for interviews this year. Please do not do that. Do not. I've said that in a previous video. Don't do that, guys, because you go in just to try the process and you really don't go all in, If you don't match, then you're basically a second time applicant. The next time around, this process just gets harder for you. So try to get all your stuff together before you decide to apply. So like I said earlier, it still makes sense to apply even if you're an IMG. Until then, guys, I'm gonna run off now. I'm at work right now. So you guys subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Please send me your questions, whatever you may have, okay? Thank you.